no other way other than you have to stop, pause, and
Yeah.
recover. Otherwise, the body will wake you up with
Absolutely.
disease. I say your health is your ability to deal with toxic habits.
That's true.
Like, how good is your resilience? See, it is a very ancient documentation of how human beings interacted with their ecosystem. So they documented when a person is behaving like this, that person was healthy. When a person is behaving like this, that person started getting these problems. We humans are like cactus plants living in a rainforest.
It's constant scrolling that everyone is on. And there is always, you've been shown lack. You lack money, you lack abundance, you lack.
In today's episode, I am joined by Deepti Chandak, who is a regular visitor to Sitaram for her Ayurveda retreats. She is a founder and editor of Luxpresso magazine, a digital luxury lifestyle platform and lifestyle content creator. Her work has taken her across travel, fashion, beauty, and entertainment. We talk about something many of us struggle with: how to take care of your health when life doesn't always allow you to follow a perfect routine. We also explore something deeper: the pressure to constantly achieve, the idea that success must come through suffering, and how social media and comparison can quietly shape what we believe a successful or healthy life should look like. Our conversation then moves into uncertainty and resilience, and dealing with anxiety, and why understanding our own patterns is so important for both physical and mental health. Perhaps true health isn't simply about being free from disease or looking fit. It is about being connected enough to yourself to understand what your body and mind genuinely need. So whether you are trying to become healthier, navigating a demanding lifestyle, or simply questioning what living well really means, I hope this conversation gives you a different perspective on health. Now let's get into the conversation. Deepti, thank you so much for being in the podcast. After long conversations, and finally we are here.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. It was very last minute, but I think it's good that we could be here.
So Deepti, I've been following your work for the last, I think,
6
prior
years,
to COVID.
maybe?
Prior to COVID,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, something
And
like
I think it's your third visit to
that.
Sitaram
It
also.
is. It is.
And I see that you travel quite a lot. And of course, to keeping up with it and to create content on this kind of an engagement. I started my podcasting only like during the COVID time.
Okay.
And I see that it's not so easy. And also to keeping up with the content and also to staying up date with what is happening and also to run your other chores and life and even other business. So I want to know more about you. Like, what is your story?
So if we start with travel, it's been a very important part of my life. I would say it's been part of my healing journey. I come from a small town of Rajasthan. I studied in Mumbai and then I moved to Dubai in like 2007. So I've been in Dubai for all this while. And most of my career I have built there. I started content creation way back in 2012 and there was nothing called as content and Instagram was just launched, in fact. So I got obviously it was like trying out. I had no formula to follow. So I just start creating content in small bits and pieces. And it kind of got good feedback from the consumers, I would say, the people who follow me and also the brands. And I kept continuing and I've been sharing my journey on my platform for a long time now. So I think, like you mentioned, it's a bit hard, right, to be relevant all the time. So the main issue I think that comes with content is being relevant and being authentic. I think if we can tackle these two and if it comes in naturally and it becomes part of your life, then it's easy to do. But if you have to do it as a chore, like, oh, I have to get to this and do it, then it's something, then you feel it's like a big task to do. So it's like, how you wake up for your business and you're excited about those meetings and okay, that's on the agenda. It's the same way for content. It's your baby, it's your business, and you wake up with those thoughts about, okay, how am I going to do my day today, and of course there could be a lot of burnout in the whole process. So you don't have to be always creating content. So I always give myself like breaks from time to time where I completely switch off as well. And I think that is where it is very important to switch off and keep going with it, So that's how I've been doing content.
And you see, what I see is there are two themes that you focus on:
Yeah.
travel and one is health.
Yes.
Sometimes they complement each other, sometimes they contradict each other.
Absolutely.
Depending on the nature of your travel, depending on the access to what kind of food and sleep and safety measures that you take. So, I get to see a lot of patients who come with health conditions mostly because they travel a lot. And then I have to tell them, you have to cut down your travel. Then they would be like, I would rather change the doctor because I cannot change the way I'm traveling. Maybe because of their work, maybe because of their lifestyle. So we had a very senior judge. I don't want to tell the name. And she was like going through the last phase of her career, and she's put in a very important position in an important project. And when she came with her health condition, she was like, the kind of travel and intensity of work that you're doing is definitely not going to help. And she was like, no, I know that this is, impacting my health, but I know that after some time I will have to retire, and at that time I will take a little more care.
Yeah.
And at that time she came for like 8 days for a treatment in our mountain retreat, and she was like, after that I'll come for a 21 day and reset and start my life. So this was her feedback, and at that time I was like, okay, she has her priorities very clear. Like, this is very important and I want to do this, and this is one of my life's work that is coming. Sometimes people do this for a very long period and then they reach that burnout, and then there is no recovery back, and then they go into a midlife crisis and it impacts their mental health as well. So I want to know from you, how do you manage your travel at the same time taking care of your health? I'm sure sometimes it goes for a toss, and there's no other way other than we have to stop, pause, and recover. Otherwise, the body will wake you up with disease.
So I actually do that, like you said, recover, pause. I absolutely do that. And my travel, of course, for example, this time when I came to Sitaram here, I had taken 8 flights already before actually getting here, because I was in Italy. Then I came to India. Like before that, I went to Dubai to refresh my suitcase, then came to India, and then, within India, I traveled. So it's been, sometimes it really gets very heavy on your body because you're constantly taking flights. So you feel it physically and mentally. But what I do is, like you said, I combine travel with health. So even on my travel, I'm very conscious. Like I take conscious decisions with regards to what I'm eating, because what you eat definitely affects your sleep and your mind, right? So I'm a very conscious eater. So even though I was in Italy, I was making sure that I do my 15,000 steps. If I'm not able to do yoga, I go, go around the beach, walk, swim, cover some sort of physical activity. So my priorities on travel are also very much intact, and I don't miss on those. One is walks. I do my daily walks, yoga, if I can do, even if it's 30 minutes a day, I try and do that. I try to sleep on time and try not to indulge too much in the nightlife. It could be once in a while, it's very occasional, but I try to maintain that kind of frequency. And then eat right. So I do a lot of fruits. I'm a vegetarian, so my food in general is very clean. I'm a clean eater. So I think that kind of helps me in my, like while I'm traveling, it keeps me on my routine pretty much. The only stress that I go through is the flights, which is one of the biggest stress, because you check in 3 hours before and then you get on the flight and then the baggage. I think that whole process makes your body very tiring. So I have to reset. So I come back and I take a break for complete 2-3 days. I think I take complete break. I don't straight on get on to projects or get on to work. I take that break, and then I get onto my daily routine of yoga, walks, gym, all of that. So as of now, this is how I've been balancing. But yeah, when there are constant travels like back to back flights, it does take a toll on my body. And the first day when I arrived at Sitaram, I was extremely tired, and I said the first day I'm just going to rest. And then I picked up on the treatment from the next day, and that's what I do mostly.
When you say you're a very conscious eater and I eat clean, so could you go a little more deeper into that? Some people, when we say clean eating, they're confused what that is. And of course, when you eat a lot of junk food, processed food, and packaged food, it'll start showing up on your body.
Skin.
Like I was reading a quote, your body is a result of your last 1,000 meals.
Absolutely.
And your mind is a result of your last 1,000 decisions. So it's always your current screenshot is always a result of your last few accumulated things.
Absolutely.
So when you take a flight, I mean, I was listening to one gentleman. He was saying that the best meal you can choose before your flight is a diabetic meal. But the problem is if you're a vegetarian, the limitations are less. So then you go for a vegan meal or an Asian vegetarian meal, but still it comes with a lot of pre-packaged food. Whatever said and done in a flight, you're going to get a pre-packaged food.
Yes, absolutely.
The concept of you need to eat like your grandfather doesn't exist inside a flight. It sounds good to talk about it in theory. So what is your take here? Like when you travel in the flights, do you have any particular food that you choose?
So it would sound funny, but when I travel on a flight, 90% of the time I don't eat flight food.
Oh, and I've heard this also.
Yeah, this is something that came up with, again, regular travel, where I realized that flight food cannot be fresh. It's been packaged, it's processed, and if I want to keep up with, that good energy and, like I said, eat clean, then it's not going to be possible. We know that. So it's funny, but I literally pack my food from home for the flight and carry it. And I just eat that food. Maybe if I want to drink something, like take a glass of juice or something, I would do that. But 90% of the time, I don't eat flight food. And I think that's one way to keep up with your health, like in terms of food goals. Like you mentioned very clearly about the 1,000 meals. And I believe what you eat doesn't just go to your body, it goes to your mind.
Absolutely.
And I believe that what you eat affects your mind in a way that, you could be cranky, you can have mood swings. So it's not just the body, your mind is listening to it more than your body, I feel. It's like similar to yoga, it's like a mind body connection, right? But in a good way. And food is the same. So I think what we feed our body goes to our overall system. And that's where the conscious thing that I was talking about is the conscious decision that you make with your mind that, okay, I'm not going to eat this. And I have eaten a pizza today. That's it. It's a cap. Tonight, I'm going to eat something which is light and just fruits maybe, or something like a light soup. So I think you have to constantly keep telling your mind, reminding your mind that what is good for you, and not to indulge in things which might feel really good for the moment, but you're going to regret it later. Or you're going to feel that shit, I should not have done it, right? And we constantly go through this in our life where we do certain things and then we regret later that I shouldn't have made that decision, right? And I feel similarly, I kind of relate it to life because we are going through a lot of stress in our daily life because either we are resenting our past or we are thinking about our future. We are never in the present, right? So I treat my body with that kind of consciousness that I try to stay in the present, think about what I need at this moment rather than what my body would require after I retire, say 7 years of more work, and then I would retire. Probably I would have different issues, or probably I would need something else. So I'm a very present person, and I feel that consciously helps me because I like to not go back here and there. And that's how my lifestyle is in general. So you would never see me, if I go to a party, for example, you're invited to a birthday, and your friends are going to tell you that, no, stay back. How can you leave so early? It's just 12. Stay till 1, stay till 2. But I am like, I have to put a full stop and I have to leave. So I would tell myself, if I do this, if I stay back for another 2, 3 hours, three things are going to happen tomorrow. Firstly, I will either indulge in things which I don't want to or need to. Secondly, I will have a hangover, or I would be sleep deprived. My morning routine is going to get affected. So if I was to go to gym, I think I'm going to skip that, and then my meals would also get affected because my whole routine is disturbed. So I don't try to stay there. Like, I don't indulge in that my next day gets affected, because I care about my next day a lot. And some people are like, yeah, come on, you can let loose. Yeah, you can let loose, but I'm okay till 12. After that, I think I need sleep and I need my next day's routine to be intact. So I'm very conscious of that.
I have a counterintuitive definition for health. I say your health is your ability to deal with toxic habits.
That's true.
Like, how good is your resilience?
That makes so much sense, yeah.
So if your health is really good, maybe you have a buffer to indulge.
Yes.
Your luxury to indulge is high. But this is one thing I've observed. People who are really healthy, they have the highest luxury to indulge, but they don't.
They don't. And they got there because of that habit,
Exactly.
and because of that discipline. I think what is lacking today a lot is discipline, right? If you bring in that little bit of discipline in our life, our lives could be very different, right? And also peer pressure. There's a lot of peer pressure. I feel in the world of social media where we are doom scrolling, it's constant scrolling that everyone is on. And there is always, you've been shown lack. You lack money, you lack abundance, you lack, the perfect husband, you lack the perfect kids. All what is showing you lack. And I think our mind is constantly playing on this lack. It picks up this lack, right? So for example, it's been said you can be successful. In order to be successful, you have to go through pain. You don't have to go through pain or suffering in order to be successful. It's like a conditioning which the society has created, that, oh, if he's successful, he might have started as a tapri guy, like a chai tapri guy, or he must have started in very hard. It's not necessary that everyone has to suffer to get to the success. You can be successful by actually figuring yourself out, right? So you don't have to go through that pain. But in this world, it's been shown, oh, people talk about these big real estate guys or these big engineers, researchers, whoever you talk about it, the owners of certain brands, they say, I started like this, I started when there was nothing, and I started from ground, and I had to suffer, and I had to work in the kitchen, and that's how I got. I'm not denying that could be your true story, right? Could be, maybe not, or maybe you've just created it as a story because now you are a business tycoon, But my point is, we are selling this to the society that, oh, you have to go through the hard work to get to where you are, which I completely disagree to. You have to do smart work. You have to know what you want to do. If you're clear in terms of what is your specialty or what is something that you're good at, you don't have to really go through the hard work. I think you need to do smart work and really know what is it that you want to do. I think that clarity is everything, and that comes, of course, with life experience. Probably today I'm in my 40s and I can talk about it. I have gone through life, but I feel that social media is constantly showing lack, and I'm a creator, but I'll be honest, I don't go on my homepage to see what's happening. I post, I see people whom I'm following, but I don't really go and see what's happening, because it's kind of even disturbing for me to see, oh, okay, this person has everything sorted, but no one has everything sorted. Someone who might look at my page and say, wow, look at her life. She's constantly traveling. She's living the life that I want to live, right? But I have my own struggles, and only I know that. Nobody knows your struggles. So I think we have to be very conscious of that, that we are not comparing and we are not going to that peer pressure, because everyone has their own story. They might talk, they might not talk about it, they might suffer internally. Some people are vocal about it, some people go through the healing journey, and some people try to figure it all out. And some people live in the myth that, this is what life is, but that's not what life is. And I feel when I see my son on social media watching all this, it hurts me, because I don't want him to see this, that everything is creating from lack. I want him to believe that you are whole by yourself. You're enough by yourself, and you can create things without coming from a feeling of lack or wanting to be somewhere. So when people manifest, right, we talk about manifestation so much. Now you can keep saying, oh, I want this every day. Okay, you are manifesting, so you are saying these mantras, or you're saying these things constantly. Of course, it's getting into your body, right? But if you're saying it from a place of not like lack, then it's not going to really work. First, you have to feel that you are happy, you're thankful with where you are, and from that place of gratitude is when you will ask the creator. I call it like the God, the creator, the universe, whoever you believe in. And when you ask that, I think it is more likely that things would get manifested than if you are doing it because everyone else had it. So do it if you want to do it. Do it if you need it. Maybe you don't need that $100 million, and maybe you need it. Maybe you are happy with a few thousands, because life at the end of it's about how happy you are, how whole you are, and how much your soul is satisfied. And I believe in that soul satisfaction a lot more than anything else.
I have if I were to be a devil's advocate, when you say smart work is what you need, not hard work. But I think what people need to put their hard work is to how to be smart at your work. I think that's where their hard work
That's
is.
true.
And also, I feel, when you say you need to figure out yourself, and you don't have to suffer, but that suffering comes in figuring out yourself. That's what I feel. It's a
process.
Yeah, exactly.
As a process, it's great. But what I mean to say is, having the belief, because you have seen it from generations to generations, because your parents told you, no, you have to suffer, that's when you get there. I'm talking about that suffering. But of course,
I
in
totally get
figuring
that.
it
I
out,
totally get
yeah,
that.
in figuring it out, you have to go through pain and suffering for sure, and that's how you figure out even your life.
Like, there is a statement: we live in a world that is completely rigged against you. Like, there's always a propaganda everywhere. The moment you go out, wherever you go, wherever you travel, you open social media, you don't even have to open social media. Just get out and you'll see a billboard saying, you need to buy this, you need to listen to this, you need to do this. And of course, we are also selling our own propaganda
Yeah.
against the propagandas.
Yeah.
So totally the world is rigged against you to be happy, you to be content.
This is not happening just today. I don't want to name the brand, but if you go back when we were kids, okay, there used to be a brand which used to say, you can achieve everything in life if you're fair. Okay. And this was sold to the whole country. The whole country was obsessed with being fair.
Oh, of
And
course.
we are brown people. we are brown, and we should be proud of our skin. Honestly, when I travel abroad, people come and compliment my skin, that they wish they could get this color. It's lovely, the tan looks so good on you. And they actually sit in the sun to get our tan. Like right now, recently I was in Italy, and so many women must have come and told me, I love your tan. I'm like, it's not tan, it's me. It's my regular skin. So the country in that generation was sold the idea that in order to be successful, in order to be a businesswoman, in order to be an entrepreneur, in order to be the person, you have to be fair. And which is such a bad conditioning we have all grown up with, because as a kid, I still remember that ad and it's there in my system. Although, of course, with my own understanding, it's not impacting me now. But that time it was like, oh, let's get fair. That is something that's going to be required in life. And tons of people spent money on it every month to just look, even men for that matter, because they also felt that, I should use it because women are using it.
Yeah.
So
Actually, more men were also buying it.
exactly. So when you talk about propaganda, I think it's not just in today's social media generation. It's the marketeers, and as a marketeer, I know how do we think behind the consumer mindset. So we actually create these kind of propagandas which could be real. I'm not saying that the whatever you're talking, you don't achieve those results, but I think they're very hard to achieve. So we overpromise, we create this luxury lifestyle or a kind of what do you say, like a body image that you need to have. And this is what is happening today. Gen Z, they are all size 0. They want to be size 0, not because Karina was size 0, but it's become a thing that in order to look great, you have to be a size 0, for which they're starving. They're not eating the nutrients that they're supposed to do. There's so much pressure about, oh, how can I have a little tummy? I mean, you can have a tummy. You have a uterus, so you definitely can have a tummy. But it's just the mindset that, no, it's not good. And that's where they do a lot of dieting. And then there are issues like eating disorders because they get into that habit of looking perfect. I think this perfection is overrated and we need to go past it, because there is your perfection is for your own body, whatever suits your body. Like today, okay, I would love to be like at 40s, I would love to have that body, but I know I have certain issues because of which I'm not able to achieve that, health wise. So what can I do? I learn to tone my body in a way that feels the best. So I think this pressure has to go off overall.
I think it will take few more, centuries is my conservative approach. Or I don't know if we will ever achieve that. There was a statement, may your life be as good as how you put it in your social media.
I wish that could be true.
So it's like, that's how people are, it's so easy to misunderstand and think that is the world, because our mind cannot go beyond what we see. There's a lot of, like you said, if I stay beyond 12 in a party, there is always a price for that. I mean, there is a price to enjoy, and there is also a price. Okay, either I suffer doing the healthy discipline. It's a kind of suffering.
Yes.
Or I suffer indulging, I enjoy indulging and suffer later. Or either I enjoy the benefit of good health, or I enjoy the indulgence and pay the consequence in bad
But what
health.
if we remove the word suffer from that? What if...
So that suffering, it's about, knowing yourself. For some people that, as I said, health is how good is your resilience. For some people, I've seen people, they say that when I sit in their consultation and they come and say, Doctor, I don't think I can give up my 2 pegs of whiskey. This is something. And when you tell them, so, okay, you are the best decision maker about your body and I'm only a mirror to you. And maybe later on they will realize this is not helping me. But sometimes they have just normalized it. Normalized it means, this is okay. This is... I've seen people, they have
part of
normalized
my lifestyle.
they have normalized hangover. They have normalized their struggles that this is normal. Like when you see an athlete, they have normalized that. See, I don't like to use the word, as you said, maybe it's not suffering. It's a little bit of austerity when others are having fun, and they are having their fun in that training. They're having that fun because I don't see anyone who achieved something great without having fun. what they're doing, they need to have fun.
So are you saying it's kind of an addiction in a way? What I mean to say, when you are saying that for example, anybody, when they are doing something for their own body, but they're obsessed with it. So it's sort of an addiction. See, we in life are addicted to things. There is no balancing out here. You are addicted to, even in health, there can be an addiction. Like you're obsessed with your health and you are just working out, eating right, doing all the right things. But it's again obsession. I feel what we need to move from is from obsession to balancing it out.
So I've also seen people obsessed with their spiritual practices.
That's what I was coming
Like
to. Yeah.
I have to get up in the morning and I have to get up at 4
Yeah.
o'clock and I have to start my sadhana, do my chants or
Yep.
the spiritual practices. I've also seen people obsessed with their, I have to get up and go to gym. Maybe they didn't sleep enough and their body has other problems because
Yeah.
of that. Being an Ayurvedic doctor, I get to see different personalities coming with different obsessions. And I've seen people who look super fit from outside and internally they're a wreck. Like they could look like, oh wow, this person can have the best muscle definition, but his spine and internal, organ health, it need not be the best. So what is happening today? We are thinking that fitness is health. No, it's not. Fitness can help you to be healthy. Fitness is more about your endurance, your muscle definition,
Yes.
and your aesthetic look. But health is more about how quickly your body bounce back when you fall sick or you have a flu or you have some injury and how quickly you get back. So sometimes, you will see people who are looking very fit, but they keep getting sick. So these are two different things.
Absolutely. So, since you are a doctor who's been practicing for so many years, what is your, like, for example, if someone has to look at this video today and say, what is actual health? I would like to know from you, like, for you, what is a balanced, actual good health? Like you said, people are obsessed with things, right? Fitness. And they could be obsessed with food. But what is the ultimate goal they should have? Of course, it depends on body to body. But okay, for example, they should be happy internally. That is one of the things that we shouldn't, like that. Like, what would you say are the 5 things that can define a good health?
Okay, I'm not going into extreme details.
Yeah.
But if I have to put it in a layman's language, or if I have to explain this to a little child, what is health? You should have an effortless sleep at night. If you struggle to fall asleep, something needs to change. But if you're going to sleep effortlessly, without any external supplementation or things, something you're doing is right. And you wake up fresh in the morning. And if you're waking up grumpy in the morning, something needs to change. If you're waking up fresh in the morning, what you're doing is right again. Second, this is my first one. Effortless sleep at night and effortless waking up in the morning. When I say effortless, it's not like, okay, the moment you get up, you are like fully charged. There is a 10 to 15 minutes, the engine starts. But if you're getting up without pain in the morning, if you're getting up without, unwanted heaviness in the body, that's a very good sign. Second thing, if you are able to have a good bowel movements, some people think that it should start first thing in the morning. It need not start first thing in the morning. For some people, maybe they need to consume a glass of hot water or maybe a coffee and then it'll go. But it's not like it is a holy grail. But if you are able to, eliminate daily in a healthy way and it is a well-formed stool, very good. And then you have good appetite, good hunger. And somehow you have designed your life in a way that you have a good routine. And you look forward for the challenges of the day. You're mentally, wow, I look forward for what is coming. And I feel, content with myself. I think this goes, and of course the mobility part comes. If I'm able to move without any external support, I feel there's no sense of insecurity. Like, oh my God, how will I handle with that? If somebody has, let's say, IBS, they're constantly worried when they go out, will I have an access to a toilet? will I have an access to a clean toilet? Or some people have multiple anxieties depending on their limitations. So if you're free without any of these anxiety, okay, I am fine. So that, according to me, is a holy grail of health. If you have all these things, that means you're doing something well.
Amazing. Yeah, that makes sense. I totally agree with it. And the same if we have to talk about anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
which is very rampant in the real life for people. What would you suggest for them?
See, first, over my years of practice, I've seen that first you need to get certain things in your body right. Let's say in a woman, if she's anemic, no matter how many great psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist she goes, that low grade overthinking will be there, because low iron will make her tired. Same with certain vitamin B12, vitamin D, and also your nutrition, your quality of your sleep. So unless we fix certain foundations, there's no way. And there are people who have a tendency, they would have picked it up from their childhood, or there could have been a genetic predisposition. And for them, maybe we have to understand the triggers and get rid of the triggers. So this is where in Ayurveda we had this concept of understanding the doshas.
Okay.
What are your triggers?
Yeah.
So once you know these are my triggers, you get rid of that. Once you get rid of that, and you need to have a better relationship with this.
So Ayurveda can actually just heal anxiety. If someone has that, a patient is coming to you with the issue of extreme stress and anxiety, you can actually plan a therapeutic plan for them here.
Like I said, there are multiple causes for this, no single cause. Like we say, this germ caused this disease, we cannot go back to the anxiety. So we look at the foundation. What is their lifestyle? What is their sleep? What is their... Sometimes when people go through a loss, they can go through... They go through their anxiety and depression. Sometimes, they lost their job or they had a separation.
Some sort of trauma,
Yeah,
basically.
trauma. So life will put you through certain things at some point. And like I say, anxiety is your creative energy used in a self-destructive way. Actually, anxious people are some of the most creative people. It's just that they're using their creativity in a not the right way. And like we say, the good side of Vata is what we call as prana. It's your life energy. And when that life energy is not in a good way, it can create that destructive manner. So we have to correct the foundations. So once we correct that foundations, then they themselves will figure out, okay, why am I being so anxious? And that, see, overthinking or anxiety, it's a kind of, I need to control things. I need to know the outcome. I need to know the future. I need to make sure that these things are there. And we all have a lot of confirmed bias. So learning to trust, I will figure it out.
Yeah.
And when you see people who have a terrible anxiety, they have a issue of trusting the future. They have an issue, will I be able to face in certain situations? Will I have the, resources or the mental tools to deal with that thing? And there is a fear of failure, but more than fear of failure, it's fear of judgment. What will others think about me? What will others, comment upon me? So these things can also, and that's for social media, you're putting yourself open to these things. You're being judged, you're being commented upon, you're being looked upon, and if not enough people are, giving you enough accolades, validation, something is wrong with me. And if too many people are doing, you get that high, and after some time it will hit you.
Then you want more of it.
Yeah. And then you will hit rock bottom. So I know few people who don't have social media at all, like very, very successful people. And they say that for me, it's really not healthy, and I know that I'll get addicted to it. And what I do personally, I don't have Instagram in my phone. I see that when it is in my phone, I can get lost. So at the same time, it's an important tool. A lot of things are happening in it. You get to know.
You just need to make it time bound.
Yeah.
You just need to have that discipline to make it time bound. Like on my Instagram, I put a timer. So it gives me an indicator that, okay, you've spent 2 hours for today. By the way, you mentioned control. And that is something which I believe is coming up in our life at many forms, right? And I use a concept of certainty. Okay, whether it's control, anxiety, stress, whatever, right? So for example, I have to do I'm anxious about, say, my future, right? Then I tell myself that I have complete certainty beyond logic that what I'm doing, where I am at, this is the only truth. And I have full faith in the creator and the universe that it would get me to that, whatever I'm meant to. So I think we need to have a lot of certainty in our life in whatever we do, because when you're certain, things automatically work out. But when you have doubts, when you want to control things, when you don't know what's happening, I think just leave it to the universe to figure it all out. You do your actions. Like we say in Bhagavata, it's written, it's been said by Krishna to Arjun that do your actions, don't worry about the impact it would create, right? Your job is to do your work. So आप अपना काम करिए and then everything else will happen what it's meant to be. And I think as humans, what we can do is take the right action, and we obviously need to have that understanding of that action is right or wrong. That much understanding we need to have, and then leave it. Let's just have certainty that this would somehow work out for you if it's meant to. And if it is not meant to, then the life will take you in another direction which is meant for you. So because I used to sometimes have a lot of stress about, okay, I have this to deal with, I have that to deal with, how am I going to cope up with it? And then I just leave it and I put it in out there that, okay, no, I think I'm certain about it. I have the certainty that this would work out for me, and let's see the path, how it happens. So I think if we can introduce the word certainty in our mind, it's much more helpful than in the situations where doubt and control comes in.
I feel the word certainty, you can use it to how you can respond to life. And that's the only thing you have control over. I mean, we don't have control who will be the next political leader. I mean,
Of course.
you have your vote, but it has
Its
a
own
very
limitations.
tiny margin of how much you can influence things.
Sure.
Or you have very little control on what is happening in the world. Actually, if you look at it, you have a lot of influence. You can do a lot of influencing, which can, give you traction to change things, but you literally have no control. So the only thing that we have control is, how to respond to things and how to having that certainty that I will figure out a way. That's one certainty that I tell myself. And there's also a very powerful statement. The quality of your life is how good you're dealing with uncertainty. I mean, if you are obsessed with things have to go this way, congratulations, you're signing up for a very difficult life, because life will keep throwing things. And that is how life is. However, you can do your best in minimizing planning, having plan B, and also preparing for the worst and having the backup plan. But even then, life will put you in places. So telling yourself, I'm certain I'll find a way out, or there's something, that's how I can look at it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I meant. That at least let it figure it out on its own way rather than having the doubts.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, when I look back in my life, some of the most fearful situations and fearful decisions I took, at that time there was a lot of, oh my God, is this the best thing I did? But later turns out to be the best things in my life. Certain things, oh my God, this is going to be so much of good fun. Later turns out to be, oh my God, why did I do that? So we shouldn't go against that feeling of, is this the right thing or is this not the right thing? Sometimes, in spite of having that heaviness, sometimes doing it can turn out to be great. But as you do more and more, you were saying figuring out who you are.
Yeah.
What that means is you get connected to your intuitive feelings. You get connected to that inner calling, that gut feeling. And I think what people need to do is how to reduce that outside noise. That is where that hard work should come. But sometimes it need not be hard work. You can just figure it out. Like one of my swimming teachers told me, you have two ways to learn swimming. Either you drown and suffer, or you learn to tap well, be near the border so you can hold it and then work on your breathing, and then you can also learn it effortlessly. So I think that approach, having that mindset, not everything need to go through that suffering. You can also find the right way. And let me be open to that right way. I think that is a way to move forward.
Absolutely, that makes so much sense. Now, I just wanted to touch upon on Ayurveda. As a Ayurvedic specialist, a doctor, and who's running resorts as well, how do you feel Ayurveda can overall impact your life in the most positive way?
See, it is a very ancient documentation of how human beings interacted with their ecosystem. So they documented when a person is behaving like these, that person was healthy. When a person is behaving like these, that person started getting these problems. Very ancient documentation. And our human body is a very ancient creation. And today, what is happening? We are living in a world where our body was not designed to live this way. We are not actually designed to live with so much of abundance. There was a famous diabetologist. He made a statement: we humans are like cactus plants living in a rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
See, a cactus is supposed to live in a desert and it is very efficient in conserving water.
Correct.
But the moment you keep a cactus in a rainforest, water is so abundant, it dies. And same with our body. We are not actually designed to live with so much of abundance. Today we have abundance problems, not scarcity problems. So actually, when you see somebody going through a kind of disease, I mean, I cannot put it in a exact, don't take it in the face value. Many times people go through a disease, it's kind of bringing back that austerity. And in Ayurveda, you try to bring that austerity consciously before you fall sick, especially when it comes to the metabolic disorders, non-communicable disease. We're not talking about injury, we're not talking about infectious diseases. We're talking about many of the lifestyle conditions that we see today can be avoided if there was slight discipline in your life. And when I say discipline, it's about having that right conscious choices. Am I eating the right thing? Am I going to sleep at the right thing? Am I dealing with my stress in the right way? And did I lose my sleep? And what am I doing to bring back? And today, what is happening? People forgot what it means to feel light and healthy in the body and mind. They don't have that benchmark anymore. They've totally forgot. So one of the questions that I have in my questions that I ask to my patients, when you look back when you were at your healthiest, how was this condition? Like sometimes they say, doctor, I go to toilet once in 2 days. So I ask you, has it been like that throughout, or was there a time when you were very healthy? So sometimes people have that memory, but it's a very faint memory. So when they come and do let's say an Ayurvedic treatment, or follow an Ayurvedic protocol, that memory comes back. And once you have that memory, then you will start holding on to it. I want to feel that light. I want to continue that feeling. So that is where today Ayurveda is becoming more relevant than any other time, because we are having overabundance problems.
Right. I think, so for example, at the health center, you have clubbed Ayurveda, of course, with yoga and meditation, and then comes the therapies and the nutrition. I think it's not just the treatments that would make you perfect, but it's how
Treatment
much
is
are you
just one
taking
part of
care
it,
of,
yes.
yeah, how much you're taking care of your body in terms of movement, calming your mind in terms of meditation, and eating the right nutrition. I think it's the combination of these things that makes the treatment also successful, because if you are not able to do the rest, I think it's going to affect your treatment.
Yes.
So I think someone who comes for an Ayurvedic retreat like me, I have been here now for the third time with Sitaram, and I feel that that combination is everything. If you can do everything in the balanced way, it gives you the most effective results. And it's the same with life. Like
Exactly,
once
yeah.
you go back home, of course you will not get these treatments, maybe you will not get this kind of food, but how much can you work around these elements that we are working on here is what your post treatment plan could be, besides the medication. So I think someone who comes for Ayurveda has to think about what beyond, not just while they're here, because it's not a short term process. It takes time, is what I have felt with my Ayurvedic experience. That it's not like you come for 7 days and you're treated and you're gone completely. done and dusted with your problem. The problem stays, and then you have to keep coming. Either you have to keep coming back, or you have to maintain that lifestyle as much as possible back home. Is that
See,
how it works?
sometimes people tell me, Doctor, I don't think after coming and doing a Panchakarma treatment, going back, I'm going to go back to my old lifestyle. So what's the point in coming? So this is one question they ask. So I tell them, that's like saying there's no point in taking a shower because I know I'm going to be dirty after that because I'm going to play in the field. But you still take care of yourself. Now, coming and doing a Ayurvedic retreat, it could be an intensive Panchakarma or, going through a good Ayurvedic retreat. It is getting to know what your body will feel like when you go through a routine. And the idea that, you are not going to have the same lifestyle when you go out. You will have friends, you will have work, you will have work meetings, you will have
lot of
friends
indulgence.
will come up. And then the moment you go, I tell people, starting from that launch, you will be fascinated by would you want to have a champagne. Things will come up if you go to the launch or if you're traveling in a little bit of luxury. So then you realize I don't need that because I'm already feeling good with my body. I don't need that extra glass. I'm feeling already, I don't need extra sugar. I feel little sugar can taste well. And that ability to have that inner contentment, that is one of the good things that can happen if you really surrender to the program in an Ayurvedic retreat. That's one thing. Second thing, after doing that, you will become more conscious of your decisions back home because you will also change your priorities. See, this is my statement. You'll always find the resources, either time, money, or things, to what is important to you. When people say I'm busy, that means that is not important to me. Maybe sometimes conflicting values come.
Yes.
But still, what is very important to you, you'll always find your resources to make it happen. So what my goal is when people come to a place like Sitaram, I want them to feel, okay, health is my priority. Because when you have health, every other priority in your life will only get a upgrade. You will have better family time. You will do your work better. You will be more productive in less time. And you will have more fun. People think that being healthy means it's not fun. Actually, you will have more fun when you are healthy. And it's not like, oh, I have to indulge and I have to go through the difficult part to be healthy. That's, again, a wrong mental model or wrong belief. So it's like it's like servicing your car. You're taking care of it. And then what happens? It's a kind of self-respect. And then, you will start looking for how, when I go for a hotel or a vacation or for a work meeting, I will avoid taking red-eye flights. I'll avoid going to parties. Maybe there are one party that I might want to go. It's very important. My best friend, certain birthday or an event or a marriage. I would like to go and indulge, but I know I'll come back to my baseline where I'm healthy. So that ability to understand, if I indulge, I know this is the price I need to pay to get back to my health. And not to normalize that suffering. Like there are people who normalize diabetes. There are people who normalize taking tablets. There are people who normalize being in hangover. There are people who normalize being in difficult stages. Sometimes it could be inevitable and they need real help. Sometimes it's a consciously they are putting themselves there. So if you're consciously putting yourself there, just letting them know you have a choice, you have a tool, you have an ability to come back. That is what this can do.
I sometimes, like I was telling you when we were chatting earlier, that, for example, say I travel or, there is something that I want to indulge in, right? I always ask myself the question, am I indulging because I really need to, or, it is required to, or I'm doing it because of boredom, or because I'm trying to hide something else, or because I want to, I'm in a situation, I want to run away from it. And I think we often do these things because we just want to not think about something else, or we need some sort of change in life, like it's boredom. Sometimes you get bored and you want to go for a party, or you're bored at home and you want to do this. And I think it comes from within because you're trying to either run away from certain feelings and trying to bypass that so that you don't have to go through the hard part. And I think that hard part, when I talk about the hard part, is it to actually sit with your feelings and go through what you really feel. So when you go through the actual, for example, it could be some sort of pain, trauma, etc. We often try to ignore these things, especially trauma. I've seen we try to bypass it with some sort of indulgence. Now, that indulgence could be physical, emotional, mental, at whatever level, but we try to bypass that so that you don't have to actually feel the pain, that trauma that you'd gone through. You don't have to feel that. And I feel that's where indulgence is coming in a big way.
So, in a gym, I saw a quote. There's just one workout from a good mood. If you do a good workout. So it's important that you cannot sit with your anxiety and think your way out of anxiety. The worst thing you can tell somebody who's stressed is just chill. Why are you so stressed?
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you can tell that person, because if he knows, he would have done that. He would have changed it. So sometimes you need to have a healthy distraction, not an unhealthy distraction. So when you say you have to sit with that feeling, and sometimes sitting with that feeling, it's not about sitting with that feeling. It's about how to process it in the right way. Now, processing it in the right way and sitting with your feelings are two different things. So when I say processing it in the right way, there is a saying, memory without an emotional charge is wisdom. So if I have a memory, okay, I met this person and he made me feel this way. Oh my God, that made me feel so terrible. And then immediately I can let that trigger make my hormones, heart attack, certain things change, and my internal feelings can also change according to that. So if that memory has such an influence on my inner feeling and my energy, then that is not healthy.
Right.
So how do I learn to change that? That is not who I am, and I don't want to give that so much power. And that is what the processing is. Sometimes people say you need to feel it. What we have to understand is, how can you disconnect that influence of that memory onto your physical feeling and your mental, emotional feeling. And if that is impacting your quality of your life, then that is not good. But on the other hand, when such a memory comes, you're able to, that's just something that happened. That is not going to define who I am. And that is not who I am. Like, a lot of good things also happen in the past, a lot of bad things will also happen. But you don't have to define yourself according to that. That ability to speak yourself, you need to have a strong PR with your own self and not let that come up. So in those situations, having a healthy distraction is very good. So when you have that healthy distraction, you're able to, come out of it.
Okay.
There is a stand-up comedian. So he was saying there is a very lazy way to solve a problem. So let's say there is a problem. One lazy way is to you create a bigger problem. So they said, so when you go and work out, what is happening, or you are putting yourself in another problem, but you're distracting yourself, but it's also healthy way. So healthy distraction is very important. But if that kind of a memory that is impacting your quality of your mental health and physical body, you're indulging in alcohol, you're indulging in unhealthy things, you're indulging in things that will later on make your life miserable. But even if that indulgence is in a controlled way, fantastic. But if it goes out of control, sometimes going and having a chocolate is one of the best things. Or going and having that one cup of ice cream is one of the most beautiful things.
Absolutely.
But if that is going to control you, and if that becomes a pattern and you end up with other metabolic problems, then that is not healthy.
Yeah.
So distraction is important. Healthy distraction is what is important. And you have to find a tool to disconnect from that. Past is not going to define who you are. And that doesn't mean this is going to happen. But somehow our mind has an ability, because that happened, you need to be careful. Is that going to come? That's what the mind is designed for. That is how it is designed for. You need to hack that. So how do you come out of that? You need to have a different ecosystem, different exposure to things that will, guide you out of that. So that way, sometimes people say, oh, when I go and I better avoid that, because I am putting myself into those memories, and those memories can, impact my mental health. It's actually a smart thing. So when you say, oh, why are you holding on to that? Maybe I will be able to let go, but maybe for me, disconnecting from that for some time is very important. And then you work on it.
That makes so much sense.
There is another counterintuitive definition of happiness. Happiness is good health with bad memory. Now, when I say bad memory, what it means is those memories that are impacting your quality of your life, that is keeping you stuck, that is keeping you low. So if you are able to forget that and move on, and you have good health, that is what is happiness at the end of the day. So you
Absolutely.
can also look at it from that perspective.
Yes, I totally agree. And I feel happiness for me is having, a connection between my body and mind. I think that is very important because when you have that kind of connection, I think you're in a happy, good space because it's in balance. So I define happiness for me as that okay, I'm connected with my own self and that's what I show it to the world.
I think I have an explanation for that. Why?
Okay.
Because you feel, I've seen so many people when they say when they get into the wrong job or in a wrong relationship or a wrong place, I think I don't feel myself anymore. And that, comes as sometimes as burnout, sometimes as a hormonal problem, sometimes as a disease, sometimes as a low productive period. And the moment you find that back, oh, I feel like myself. Now I'm able to connect with my feelings. I'm able to articulate my feelings. I'm able to say what is there. They feel certain that I'm able to connect to my inner voice. And that's why uh, the word for health in Ayurveda is Swastha, which actually means Swa means my purest self, and Sta means to be connected. So when I'm connected to my real inner me, that is what is health. That's exactly what you said.
Exactly.
It was a very good conversation, DT. Really enjoyed this
Thank you
conversation.
so
And
much.
thank you for being a frequent visitor to Sitaram. And also, we will have better conversations. And may your work, spread how to live healthy and travel consciously and eat consciously.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a great conversation, and I really look forward to keep coming back at Sitaram.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.